I remember. The day I first told my family I was going to be an urban beekeeper. I was in my tiny apartment, clutching my plan like a lifeline, trying to explain how bees could save our dying city, how rooftop hives could bring back pollination, restore green patches, and heal the fractured ecosystem we'd all abandoned. Their faces twisted with disbelief, then outright laughter. My father shook his head, voice thick with contempt. "You're kidding, right? You're going to be a beekeeper? That's ridiculous. You won't get anywhere with that nonsense. You're wasting your life." My mother's eyes darted away, as if I'd just announced I was quitting school to sell flowers on the street. My siblings dismissed me as a dreamer, someone who'd fail, embarrass us all, and be forgotten. They told me I was an embarrassment, an idealistic fool chasing a childish fantasy. They said I'd never make a real difference, that I was wasting my potential on a hobby that wouldn't pay the bills. I remember feeling my chest tighten, my face flush with a mixture of defiance and despair. But I didn't let their words drown me. Instead, I swallowed the hurt and decided I'd prove them wrong, step by step, hive by hive. I quit my job as a chemical engineer, the one career I'd been told would bring stability. I poured every ounce of my savings into rooftop gardens, bee colonies, and pollination projects. The first year was brutal. I faced skepticism from neighbors, city officials, even fellow environmentalists who told me urban beekeeping was a foolish trend. The media ridiculed me, calling me the city's eccentric bee lady, mocking my ridiculous hobby. My family's words echoed in my head, sharp and relentless. "You'll never succeed. You're an embarrassment." But I persisted. I studied relentlessly, learned from my failures, adapted my methods. Slowly, the city's barren rooftops began to bloom. Bees returned to neighborhoods long thought dead. Pollinator corridors sprouted on forgotten terraces. I organized grassroots efforts, engaged local schools, and turned my small operation into a movement. What started as a handful of hives grew into a network of urban sanctuaries, and with every successful bloom, with every pollinated flower, I felt their mockery turn to bewilderment, and then to cautious respect. Years passed. What once seemed impossible became inevitable. My work caught the attention of environmental groups, city planners, and even policymakers. I was invited to speak at conferences, featured in documentaries, and recognized for transforming urban spaces into vibrant ecosystems. My approach helped reverse local ecological decline. Parks flourished, bees thrived, and city dwellers rediscovered a connection to nature they'd lost. But today, I am not just celebrating milestones. Today, I return home, ready to face the very people who dismissed me. They still live in the same small town, oblivious to the storm I've become. I step into the house, feeling the weight of years, of battles fought and won, of a life I built against every odds. And then I do something I never thought I'd do. I unveil my greatest project right in their living room. I walk into the backyard, a space they thought was long forgotten, overgrown with weeds and cracked pavement. But now it's a lush, buzzing oasis. There are dozens of hives, tall, flowering plants, and a small greenhouse filled with thriving, pollinator-friendly crops. Bees dance through the air, their hum a testament to resilience, vitality, and hope. My family stares in silence. Their faces shift from skepticism to shock, then to stunned disbelief. My father's jaw tightens as he recognizes the thriving hive I built on the roof of the house itself, something they'd once mocked as impossible. My mother, eyes wide, touches a flower, trembling. My siblings stand frozen, unable to speak. And then I speak, voice steady but emotionally charged. You told me I'd fail. You told me I was wasting my life. But look at this. Look what I've created, not just for myself, but for this whole community. I've turned what you called a foolish hobby into a movement that's healing our city's wounds. You laughed at me, but I proved that even the smallest seeds, or in this case, tiny bees, can grow into something powerful, something that changes everything. My words hang in the air. For a moment, silence. Then my father's eyes glisten with something I've never seen before. Perhaps regret, perhaps pride. Slowly, he reaches out and touches a hive, voice trembling. I didn't understand. I thought you were chasing some childish dream. You've made a difference. You've made a difference, my mother, tears streaming down her face, nods softly. We were wrong. We should have listened. You were meant for this. In that moment, I feel a profound shift, an unspoken forgiveness, a recognition that my relentless pursuit was never foolish, but necessary. I've shown them that persistence, passion, and unwavering belief can carve out a new reality, even when everyone else dismisses you as crazy. Standing there, surrounded by buzzing bees and blooming life, I realize that the greatest success isn't just the ecological revival or the recognition. It's the transformation of those who doubted me, the healing of old wounds, and the understanding that sometimes the most ridiculous dreams are the ones that change the world. And as I look at my family, no longer dismissive, but changed, I know that I have finally paid my karma's ledger in full. I've turned scorn into respect, mockery into admiration, and doubt into hope. Because in the end, the true victory isn't just about the bees or the city's rebirth. It's about believing in yourself enough to keep going, even when everyone else says you're wasting your time. It's about knowing that sometimes the most impossible dreams are the ones worth fighting for, because they carry the power to transform not just the world around you, but the world within your own heart. And that, I've learned, is the sweetest honey of all.